Good morning and welcome to Business English Paris. Today, the word of the day is blame. Blame, blame. And I covered that word a few days ago on the blog. And I think it was inspired by an article I read in the New York Times or one of those publications about China and the United States and how both the Trump administration and the Jinping administration were sort of at loggerheads about who was to blame for the 2020 coronavirus that basically ravaged the world and brought the world to its collective knees. And it was interesting because the Chinese were saying that, well, they had two theories. One was that the U.S. Army had brought the virus to Wuhan, China, and another being that American citizens in America were sick with the virus for months before it first manifested in people in China. But either way, the Chinese were saying that the virus was from America. And the Americans were saying, no, this started in your country and this came from your wild life markets where people are mixing bats and cooking and eating strange animals. And so it's a question of, sanitary, it's a sanitary question, blah, blah, blah. So who was to blame was the question. And so that sort of gave me the idea for this particular video. Or no, I should say it gave me the idea for the word of the day, blame, and then now I'm making a video. And so I thought I would look at it more from a standpoint of work, since this is um, a work themed blog and YouTube channel. Well, it's not work themed, but it's business English, legal English, that kind of thing. And so it kind of is work related. So I just wondered whether, if you and I were, having a conversation one on one, whether telephonically or face to face, and I threw that word at you, blame, you know, where would you go with that word? What comes to your mind? I mean, for example, have you ever been blamed for something at work that simply was not your fault? Have you ever blamed someone else for something that was your fault at work? I mean, at work, I found that, wait, for me, work has been very not conventional. I haven't really worked in a 9 to 5 job in a very, very long time. I would say for most of my working life, I've worked independently in some form or another. But there was a time when I did sort of have to go from 9 to 5 in my little outfits, my beautiful little suits, some of which actually still fit, believe it or not, and deal with the office life. And I found, first of all, that it was not the environment that suited me best. But I also found in that environment that there was a lot of that kind of like blame gaming going on, whether it's a colleague blaming another colleague or entire departments blaming other departments. And it's always somebody else's fault. And even something as simple as who clogged the copy machine, was always an issue. Usually that was me, actually. I usually I touch it, it clogs. But so I haven't really had a lot of experience lately, anyway, with office life. Okay, but I do know that in workplaces and in offices, there's a lot of blaming going on for all kinds of different things. And I wondered what your experience has been with that, and why do you think that people in general, or countries, I mean, it's not just people really, if you really think about it. You could have um, nation states, regimes, big groups, organizations blaming one another for one thing or the other. I mean, I think this whole nature and tendency starts at birth. It starts in the playground, where you have children tattling on each other, blaming each other, pointing the fingers at each other. And so, in a way, I think it's human nature. But I certainly wonder why, after we've grown, we're adults, we're in the workplace, we're running countries, we are, we're whatever we are. Why are we still so disinclined to take responsibility and just maybe apologize rather than blaming others when things don't go our way, or go the way that we would have wanted. I do think, though, I mean, not to oversimplify the issue, that sometimes it is somebody else's fault, and sometimes you need to say it, because I think that this whole um, don't make excuses thing and don't blame others. It's a very Jesus Christ-esque way to be. I mean, it's just not realistic, and it's not practical all the time to just like not say to someone, look, what you did was not acceptable, and you have to take responsibility for it. And I think that's important. I think it's important sometimes to lay the blame and to say, look, this happened, you did this on this day at this time in front of these people, and now I can't have you do that ever again, because it undermines my credibility with my colleagues. It da 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 da, whatever it is you have to say. I forgot to put on my makeup. I forgot to put on my makeup. I'm just looking at myself and I realize I don't have any lipstick on, so this probably won't get published. But yeah, if you need an English coach, contact me. This is a take. You see, this is what happens. Then I have to redo the entire tape. So I almost want to post this to show you what I go through with just one video taking 4 or 5 different takes before I remember, oh my God, I don't have on lipstick. See you in the next one.